Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new game analysis video. This is game number 12 in my Road to Expert series, where I am working to try to get to 2000 USCF rating. This is round 4 of the Fall Swiss. It was played back in late October, and my opponent with the black pieces is Evan Sagers, one of my training partners. Also, if you do not know, the Chess Lobster. So you can check out all of his particular socials and his newsletter, Ocean of Chess newsletter. Great stuff. He's writing about his journey as well, and he is eagerly trying to reach National Master by reaching 2200. I am excited to play him. I haven't played him for quite a while. I think it's been almost a year, maybe 9 months or so since I've played him, and I've had some tremendous progress. So I want to test my skills against somebody that's much higher rated. Right now, I'm 1805, and he is 2126 at the plane of this game. Okay, let's get into the game. E4, C6. I knew that he was a Caro-Kann player. I wanted him to play a Caro-Kann. Knight to F3, D5, and D3. And here, like in my last game, I was expecting or hoping that he would play this line. But I was silly to think that this is something that he would fall for, because he is a lifetime Caro-Kann player, and he already knows that that endgame is not good for black. And he knows that the practical chances are far superior for white. So I was silly to think that he would go for it. But I tried to think that he might do something like that. Maybe he thought his endgame might be superior to mine. I tried to trick him into doing that. I failed, and now I'm pretty much all in his territory. He was highly suspecting that I would play the King's Indian attack towards his towards his Caro-Kann, and he was right. So I was a little bit misplaced in my guidance towards trying to outsmart him with what openings we were going to play. So he played these queen to c7 and this bishop d6, which is hanging on to e5, which is quite good. And I played my normal moves, and he is going to play for an early quick f5. Now, I have been spending some time learning against this particular scenario because I ran into this, and this is one of the most testing lines. So I will be quite a bit more prepared than I was during this game. We both castle quickly. I play h3. I want to keep him out of here. He has no intention of coming into there. He's going to play f5. Now, here, I played knight to h2. I don't know if I was worried. I feel as though I was seeing ghosts a little bit. This might have been a wasted move. I have not been doing really well going out of the opening into the middle game with my new openings that I've been playing, and this game is no different. And I think I just saw a bunch of ghosts with the F file opening up. I look at it now and I'm like, why did I make this move? It's such a useless move, where I should have just played c4 and said, all right, what are you going to do? And then kind of go from there and play this Maroxy bind type of structure and go from there. That didn't happen. I played knight h2, which is definitely not a good move, and it gives the slight advantage over to black at this point. So knight d7, he's going to transfer pieces over to the king's side. I played h4, so I've wasted a bunch of tempo so far. Knight to f6, h5, e6, and h6. So I went through wasting a lot of moves to do this sort of attack when I have no pieces on that side of the board. None. I mean, these two are defending my king, but they're not here for an attack. My bishop's not even in play because it's blocked by my knight right now. So this was definitely a lot of wasted time. So let's go back, and this is the position where I think there's a lot to be learned from this particular point. Actually, probably from here even. Mainly because he has no way to capture this pawn back on f5 with a pawn. He can only use one of these pieces. And I believe if I were to turn the engine on, e takes f5 might be a good idea, or even d5. So e takes d5 is the best move. And I think this is still probably playable, mainly for the idea that if he takes with a piece, any piece, we can play here, and he's got to retreat the piece. And now if he goes here, I can go after that bishop, and he's got to drop it back, or I'm going to win the bishop pair, and then I can bring my knight here in due time. And then I can bring my other knight in. He does get this half-open file, so there's things to worry about, but I think it might have been better practical chances. Now, looking at this one, this is probably even better. Mainly because if he takes here, I think we can play c4, and the center is going to blow up, and I feel like his king might be a little bit more loose with the light squares than mine, and it's a game. I feel like it's a little bit more practical chances. I didn't play that way, and we played this way instead, and I wasted all these tempo just for him to play g6, which shows as a mistake. But now, if you look at the position the way it is right now, what am I supposed to do? How should I proceed here? Because honestly, I don't see a lot of, things I should do. The best move in the position is bringing my knight back from my wasted move, that tells you when you've done something bad, the engine tells you just to move back, the move after. Yeah, that's you've realized you've made a serious mistake. But, I played queen e2, and honestly, I'm looking at this move now, and I played this only 2 months ago, less than 2 months ago, and I really have no idea why I played this the way I did, because I really have no recollection of why, because it doesn't make any sense. Maybe I want to do this type of maneuver, but I really don't get it. I don't get it. And going over your games and then taking a look at them a few months later, I think is a good thing, because you can see these things and be like, why did I do that? And then start asking yourself these questions. Why are you doing some of the things you're doing? And you should do this not only with your losses, but with your wins and draws as well. And this game in particular, I learned a lot from, because I learned what you shouldn't do. You should always be testing the center. Black is pretty much a perfect position. There's no defects in it whatsoever. I see no weaknesses. He's in a really good spot. This knight is kind of a little bit out of play right now, but with locking down the position and then playing out here, it's really not a big deal. And all these pieces can easily swing over to the king side if I were somehow to break through miraculously, but I don't think any of it matters. All right, queen to d7. And, one thing that I learned a lot during this game and over the course of 2024, I was not paying enough attention to my opponent's moves. I was not asking myself the question, what are they trying to do? What can they do? And then the follow-up question to that, can I stop it and still continue with my plan? This is basics, and I'm not even doing the basics. My mindset is all over the place in the last half of the year here. And yeah, I am asking some of these questions, but I'm not answering them very well, because I'm just not. I have a lot to learn. And it's definitely clear that my dark squared bishop is out of play. My knight is barely in play. This is out of play. This is kind of out of play. But if I were to look at this position again, I would never play that move, because mainly with really good play, even if I get this, let's say, Black wants me to trade off my light squared bishop. The whole idea of the King's Indian attack is to hang on to your light squared bishop as long as you can. That is your best piece on the board, and I am just automatically willing to get rid of it for whatever reason. Whereas here, it's a much better placed piece. So I'm definitely lacking an understanding of what I'm supposed to do in this opening at this time. So yeah, I am being hyper ultra critical of my game. I am looking at this after the fact, after I've learned a whole lot about the opening, and I'm like, wow, what was I doing? And this is what happens when you switch and change openings. You switch and change openings, and then there's a lot you don't know. And then you come back to games that you played when you started playing those openings, and you're like, whoa, this is way wrong. I did this so incorrectly. But that's how we learn. We look at it, we reflect, and then we kind of move forward. Let's take a look at the rest of the game. There's not much left. So bishop takes, queen takes, shows a lack of understanding from my part when it comes to the king's Indian attack. D takes e4, queen to h3. And I thought this was kind of, I'm like, oh, that's super ambitious, but can you do anything with that? And the answer is yes. Playing a4 was, I believe, kind of a silly move. But it's really tough. Do I have anything better is the question. And a better move might have been here, with the idea of coming here. It serves two purposes. At least that's the move that I like the best, looking at the position right now. You're like, wait, you do give up a pawn, though. And I say, well, I can come here. I always thought that he wanted to take this pawn, which he doesn't. He has no need or want to take that pawn. He wants to attack. So, but I can force him to do things. So if he decides to take here, I can come here. And now I'm finally counterattacking and making him decide what is going on. I can get this pawn back. If he comes here, I can come in here. Now, I can't really go in there completely because he can just move the rook, and that move is kind of useless. So I'd probably come back here and just pick back up the a pawn. And I think this was a much more a much better practical try than what I did. I'm trying to expand on the queen side. It says the reason for this move was twofold: space on the queen side, which is probably unnecessary. I've already mentioned in my analysis from 2 months ago. But I saw the potential for the queen being trapped. So my idea was to bring the rook up here, I'm guessing. But it's super slow. And I'm not paying attention to his threats. So his knights are going to be really, really tough to deal with very soon, and I am not recognizing that. So a4. What I should have done is done this and then this. a4 here, rook a to e8, and then I played c3 for some reason, because one thing I didn't realize is that, oh yeah, there's a bishop here blocking, so I can't really do anything about that. So I would have had to waste a pawn and then a bishop, and it's super slow. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's super illogical. Rook a to e8, c3, and bishop c5. And at this point, I did not see the impending danger. I'm missing asking all the questions. What can my opponent do to me? And I mean, this is really easy to see. Like, I'm just wasting. I made 2 pawn moves that were completely unnecessary, knowing that he always has this and he's got this open file. There's a lot of doom coming, and I'm not even aware of it. I'm just blind, at least during the sense of this game. c3, bishop c5, e takes d. I'm trying to break things open the best I can. And maybe taking there was even worse. I'm not sure. Maybe I should have just come here. This is still probably best. King to h1 is best. Knight to b3 is an option. I take. he takes here, not even seeing, completely missing the threats and ideas with this pin. Just allowing whatever. King to h1, queen to h4, knight to f3. Not a lot left at this point. And it looks like you might be hanging on, but once, this was a trap, and I fell for it. Can you guys see how black finished me off and makes it very difficult for me to continue? Pause the video, try to figure it out for yourself, and leave a comment with the line that you find. So we're going to buzz through the end of the game here. He played knight to f5 and discovery on my queen. And I missed this move too. I was thinking that he would just take. And I'd be like, okay, good. No. Nope. Why take when you can make a bigger threat? Because now this is a threat and bad things are happening. Queen to f4, knight to e4, and these rooks on these open files are just absolutely devastating. And with these two knights in combination coming towards my king, I really have no chance. I'm trying to defend best I can. Knight f, g3, queen g4, have to give up the queen. Knight takes f1. And here I resigned. Because I'm going to lose this knight. So even if I go here and here, he's got a full piece ahead and it's a full rook. And there's nothing I can really do about that. Especially against somebody that's 300 points higher than me. So yeah, I'm not seeing a lot during this game. And he made me pay for it. I learned a ton. So hopefully during my next showing, I can give Evan a much stronger game. But overall, I learned tons and tons and tons from this game. So yeah, I missed the point of the King's Indian attack completely. Really just a huge lack of understanding. And it shows in this game quite a bit. Overall, everything. From how to play the position, what plans I should be coming up with, the opening in general, the lines I played, all of it as a whole. It needs a lot of work. So, but if I'm going to lose to somebody that's 300 points higher, it might as well be him so he can give me the best lesson possible, right? All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Please like and share. It does help me out a lot. And I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Take care, and we'll see you next time.